it does.
What do you mean?
Did you think you could escape from London so easily after what you did at the opera? That we wouldn't notice? That we wouldn't follow?
Ah. So that's what this is about.
Surrender, and I will see that you are treated with honor.
If you wish to treat me with honor, give me a sword.
Are you sure this is how you want to play it?
Stay below decks.
I did as you asked. Only Mills was there waiting for me. He's the one that drew that ship here. There was no mutiny, only him.
What do they want?
Me.
Then they can have you.
Is that so?
You'll catch us anyway. There's nothing to be done.
I can think of something.
You wish us to sail into the storm?
It's our only chance.
I won't do it.
Then I will.
All right. All right. We need those ropes secured! I told you this was madness.
Calm yourself. I'll fix your sail for you.
You take the foremast! James! To the mainmast with you!
What is it you see right now?
Thank you.
Hey.
I did as you asked. Only Mills was there waiting.
Make ready for our arrival, men!
Arrival? I see no land, only this interminable fog.
The gulls tell us all we need to know. Climb into the crow's nest and you'll see.
Potty break. Let me know if it's working.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey. New phone, who dis? April. April, you're not giving me any feedback. April, you're not giving me any feedback.
Are you playing?
Can you hear me? April, can you still hear me?
Yay.
Okay, I'm not getting any feedback from you. Can you tell me what you're saying, or can you understand me okay? What's going on? I'm just sitting on the mast right now. I stopped playing until you caught up, but you didn't say a word.
Hi.
Yes, I know you're chatting in YouTube. What do you see on the screen? Is it catching up? Is it still lagging? Can you hear me okay? Like, you didn't give me any updates. The last thing you said was that it wasn't working right, and then you stopped talking. April, yes or no? Can you hear me? April, yes or no? Can you hear me? April, yes or no? Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? And what do you see on the screen right now? April, can you hear me speaking?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. That's the first time you've responded to me. Did you hear me every other time? Because you just went radio silent. I'm trying to figure out what the heck you're doing.
Why are you playing a Switch game?
Why are you sending me the same message in two places? Hey, if you're still typing instead of like typing where I can hear you in my headphones, then you're gonna have to wait a second until I get out of this Tetris game.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Talk to me on YouTube. Am I sitting on the mast right now? Am I climbing on the mast? Should be a cutscene now. YouTube. Sequence 2, Boston, 1754.
Master Kenway! Master Kenway!
Yes, may I help you?
Charles Lee, sir. A pleasure to make your acquaintance. I've been asked to introduce you to the city, help you settle in. Oh, no need, sir. I've arranged for your bags to be delivered to the inn.
Are you by any chance John and Isabella's son?
Charles Lee, born 1731. Charles Lee was a British soldier who went on to be a major figure in the Revolutionary War. Lee's father was a colonel in the British Army and started his son off in a military career early. He was sent to a military academy in Switzerland during his formative years, and then, in 1746, Lee became an ensign in his father's regiment. Lee was sent to the colonies in 1755 to fight in the French and Indian War. He served under Edward Braddock and then later at Fort Ticonderoga, where he was injured in the fighting. Lee recovered and later fought at Fort Niagara. I'd always thought there were a lot of fort fights fought. He finished his time in the colonies with the British conquest of Montreal. Lee returned to England in 1760, possibly because he was seeking career advancement. He was named a major in 1761 and was sent to fight the Spanish in Portugal. Though his service record there was good, Lee didn't receive praise on his return home. In fact, he was retired from the army at half pay. After that, Lee became a vocal critic of military higher-ups and the British Prime Minister, and found that his military career had, inexplicably, completely stalled.
One and the same.
Your commission is with Edward Braddock, is it not?
Aye. But he's yet to reach America, and I figured I might... Well, at least until he arrives. I thought...
Yes? Out with it.
Forgive me, sir. I had hoped that I might study under you.
Sir.
If I am to serve the Order, I can imagine no better mentor than yourself.
Kind of you to say.
Bloody
But
hell!
I think you overestimate me.
Impossible, sir. This way.
Thief! Someone stop him!
Boston's quite a lively city.
There's all manner of things to see and do. Once you've settled in, I suggest you take some time to walk the streets. Who knows what opportunities you might discover.
Hold a moment. Need to fetch a few things before we get to work.
I'll arrange for horses while you do that.
The British regulars were the foot soldiers of the British Army. You'll also hear them referred to derisively as redcoats because of the red coats they wear as part of their uniforms, or lobsterbacks because of their huge, deadly pincers, or still because of the red coat thing, I can't remember which. Regulars in the colonies were notoriously underpaid, and many looked for work outside of their army duties to make ends meet. Of course, their room and board was paid by the government, meaning they could charge lower than average rates for their work. Since unemployment was high in Boston before the Revolution, you can imagine this made the redcoats rather unpopular among people they were taking work from. That and their huge, deadly pincers. Okay, I'm getting to another save point.
Damn sprigs. This accursed city will be the death of me.
You seem troubled, friend.
That's because I am. Greatly so, in fact.
What's happened?
I was robbed. The old Balkan file. Though I've managed to restore what's mine, I fear it's ruined.
You mean the book?
This is no ordinary book. It's an almanac. The first I ever wrote. Benjamin Franklin. Pleased to meet you.
Hatham Kenway.
You must be new to Boston.
Why do you say that?
You're still possessed of virtue. To stop and help an old lout like myself. I I don't mean to impose, but you seem a spry fellow. Should you happen to find my missing pages, I'll reward you.
Look, I'm not sure if I...
It's all right, all right. If you have the time, hurrah! If not, no harm done. The thing is useless in its current state anyway. But should you somehow manage to restore it, you'll find me inside that general store over there.
Well, that was interesting.
Benjamin Franklin was a renowned inventor, diplomat, and one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. Translation: he was a rock star of the age. Franklin was born in Boston in 1706, the 10th son of a soap maker. And also, 10 sons. I guess his parents couldn't afford a television, and also there was no television. He began working for his brother in 1718 as an apprentice printer. However, their relationship was rocky, particularly after the elder Franklin found out that young Benjamin had been writing for the paper under a pseudonym, Silence Dogood, and writing an extremely popular column at that. Human nature being what it is, the fact that the column was popular was probably the bigger problem. Benjamin ran away in 1723 and headed for Philadelphia, where he continued his career in printing and writing, eventually buying the Pennsylvania Gazette. The business, I mean, not just a copy. That would have been one of his lesser achievements. He stayed in Philadelphia for most of his life, that is, when he wasn't making extended trips to Europe. Franklin had a talent for persuasion, and that made him an ideal diplomat. In 1757, he went to London to represent Pennsylvania in an ongoing legal battle with the Penn family. It was the first of several extended political trips to Britain, and he would act as the state representative for Massachusetts, Georgia, and New Jersey as well. In fact, Franklin was in Europe for most of the Revolution, though he was in the colonies to help with the writing of the Declaration of Independence. Franklin was a vocal opponent of British impositions on the colonies, like the Stamp Act, and although he first fought for the rights of colonists as British citizens, he eventually became convinced, like many of the Founding Fathers, that independence was the only real solution. Unfortunately, Franklin's change of heart made him clash with his son William, who served as the royal governor of New Jersey. William remained an active loyalist. The father and son never spoke again. When he wasn't founding a new nation and destroying his family in the process, Franklin was a scientist, inventing things like bifocals and more efficient wood stoves when he wasn't mapping the Gulf Stream and discovering how electricity worked. What have you done today? Made yourself a microwave meal and set about your underwear? Well done, you. He was also quite the lady killer. Jesus, this guy, carrying on several friendships with women while he was in Europe. The records don't say what exactly they saw in him, certainly not his looks, but maybe women like a man who's intelligent. If that was true, I wouldn't be here. I'd be in Portugal surrounded by them, and you'd be looking at a blank screen. Faneuil Hall. Don't let the French spelling confuse you. The name of the building is pronounced Faneuil or Faneuil. Getting it wrong is a good way to indicate you're not from around here, but it's also a great way of proving you're not French, which in my experience is a real boon. Also, if you want to pass as a local, you should take a good look at the weather vane. It's a Boston landmark. Legend has it that in the War of 1812, suspected spies were asked what was on top of Faneuil Hall. Only a true local would be able to say it was a grasshopper. The building was named after Peter Faneuil, the local merchant who paid to build it. It was meant as a place for local farmers to sell their goods so their carts would stop crowding the streets, and also so you didn't have to walk near farmers. However, it's the meeting hall on the second floor which gives the building its nickname, the Cradle of Liberty. That's rather ostentatious and, dare I say, American as a nickname, but it's not inaccurate. People met here to protest the Stamp Act. The first anti-tea tax meetings were also held here. Anti-British meetings occasionally drew crowds so large the building couldn't even hold them, at which point they all went to the Old South Meeting Hall. During the siege at Boston, the meeting hall here was made over into a theater. Since plays of any kind were banned in Boston during ordinary circumstances, something I think should still be a law, actually. This is yet another example of the British loyalists sticking it to the rebels.
Be it known that the representatives of the colony of Massachusetts progress. A renewed diplomacy with the Mohawk has been promised. Hear all! The Crown fosters advanced knowledge in the...
Committees of Correspondence. Since the American Revolution happened in the dark days before there was an internet, and even before telephones, organizing colonial opposition to the British was a little tricky. I don't want to make you cry, but these clowns didn't even have dial-up. The solution was to send out writers bearing letters to inform colonists in other areas what was going on. These became known as Committees of Correspondence, correspondence being a fancy name for letters. If you did not know this, I'm amazed you have even read this far. Actually, I'm amazed you can even read this far. Samuel Adams created one of the first committees of correspondence in Boston in 1772. In particular, he wanted to keep people outside of Boston informed about town meetings, so the governor couldn't invite only his friends to meetings. That would be less a meeting and more of a dinner party. Perhaps unsurprisingly, Adams's committee worked so well that everyone started doing it. Eventually, all of the colonies had their own committees, focused on presenting a united front against British-imposed taxes and supporting boycotts of British goods. Really, Adams should have patented the idea. He could have made a fortune.
By royal charter, King's College has been created in New York Colony.
Willkommen, enter, please.